Shalom. It's Fallen Yeshua. Welcome to Getting the Rock. This is going to be a tough video for some of y'all to hear. Specifically, sisters, for y'all. But I'm going to attempt to explain something. And the question I was asked by a sister was, Fallen Yeshua, why aren't these brothers, us men, why aren't they willing to help sisters anymore? The Bible talks about helping the widows and the orphans. Why aren't they willing to do it? And I think the problem, sister, is what y'all call help. What y'all notoriously call help is a man willing to give you money. And when you bring up the verse, caring for the orphans and the widows, I think it's appropriate to keep it in context. Biblically, first of all, women that were orphans, were widows, whether they were unmarried or their husband died or whatever, they wanted to be covered. They wanted a covering. Usually their lack was from the fact that they were uncovered. Think of the story of Elijah and a woman and her son who, she said she's going to eat the last morsel of food and then they were going to die. That problem, there's a famine in the land, there's a lot going on. There's a drought which caused the famine. There's nobody there to really care for her. And in today's time that you see, a lot of the sisters, they just want money. If a man came to you and said, hey, I can cover you. You can come into my house. You're going to follow and adhere to the rules that I have for my family. I may take you in and you may end up becoming my wife. And I will care for you. And, let's say he said the child, if you had a child. Most women today would say no. Why? Because I ain't listening to no man's rules. Why you gotta listen to no man's rules for? Because, see, the society has made it where you can get from the society, you can get food and everything else and still maintain your independence. Well, the problem with independence is when you're an independent person, you have to independently take care of yourself. These people that are on welfare and government services, your sisters, y'all women who are on that, you're not independent women. Somebody is covering you. Somebody's taking care of you. When the system says there better not be a man in your house, well, you better report your income, you better do it. Because once they find out you haven't done it, you're off the system. So you still are covered. You're just covered by big government. When you look at stories like, let's say Ruth. Ruth was out there getting food in the fields of Boaz with a lot of other, maidens, unmarried women. Boaz was keeping the law, and he wasn't going through the field his second time, and he was leaving it for the widows, the orphans, and the strangers. But here's the thing. As soon as Naomi told Ruth what to do, Ruth wouldn't did it. Because these are women who wanted to be covered. They didn't choose to be single. See, today women are arguing that they want, where are the men who are supposed to be doing these things? But then they say, I want to be single. I want my independence. I want to do what I want to do. But then, where are the men who keep the law? Where are the men who are gonna take care of the widows and the orphans? You can't have it both ways. You cannot have it both ways. Because there are men that I know of that said, hey, I'll add to my house. Hey, I'll take another sister. Hey, I'll take another helpmeet. Hey, I'll take a handmaiden. Hey, and women say no, 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 no. What they want is they want the brother to cash at them, to PayPal them, to go to their GoFundMe and fund their single lifestyle, which means that brother would literally be complicit in funding your reproach that Isaiah 4:1 talks about. Talks about 7 women take hold of one man, saying we will, provide our own food, only and our clothing, only let's be called by your name. That means let's take your name to take away our reproach. The reproach was they were uncovered. If you read in chapter 3, towards the end of the chapter, it says all the men had died in the war. So there were very few men. There are very few men, and there were a ton of uncovered women. But when answers are given, it's no, 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 no. But then it's, why aren't you keeping the law and providing and helping us, widows and the orphans? One, if I help somebody, I don't go to YouTube. I know you're used to these pastors that run the YouTube and let everybody know what they did on YouTube. Hey, I did this, I did this, I did this. I don't do that. I don't do that. If I choose to help somebody, it's between me and that person. And that's it. That's the first thing. Second thing is most people don't want help unless the help is the way they want it. And I've learned that lesson. Unless help is the way they want the help, they don't consider it help. So unless you're willing to just give her $500 and say, skedaddle, see you later, they don't consider that help. But that's not help, because you're going to find yourself back in that situation again. I've had sisters who said, my baby daddy died, or whatever, and some crazy stories. My baby daddy died, and I'm in the faith now, and can you send me some money for diapers? And I asked the sister, hey, do you watch the channel? Because they'll send you the picture of themselves, and they got their hair done, their nails done, and everything else. And I'm like, well, do you have a husband? No, I don't have a husband. So you don't have a husband. So you just had a child out of just out of a whim because you wanted to have sex. Well, there are consequences. Number two, you have a sewing machine. I know the sisters here can teach you how to make diapers. They got videos online of how to make diapers. Oh no, I don't have time for that. Well, what are you doing? You have a job? No. You going to school? No. So how do you not have time to make diapers for your child? Well, I have some brothers that would be interested in a sister joining their house, and I can get you in contact with them. No. So you basically just want somebody to send you money to buy diapers, which means that money's probably not going to be used for diapers. See, there used to be a time when people took help, when marriage and covering, it eliminated these problems. A lot of them. Literally, the widows and the orphans were women that weren't married. They were women that, were uncovered for one reason or another. It could be any reason. But when the opportunity came for them to be covered, they ran at the opportunity. They didn't sit back and whine and complain and say, I only receive help if it's the help that I want. If it's the help the way I like it. If it's help that you're offering me and it's not going to give me my own money and give me my independence, I don't want your help. But then I want to go and complain about these men who aren't keeping the law. Even Paul, was it 2 Timothy 5 or 1 Timothy 5, 2 Timothy 5, talks about the church not enrolling the women into the congregation unless she's over 60 years old, the wife of one husband, and then he gives a criteria that she has to meet. Even that 60-year-old has to meet. Wife of one husband, 60, wash the saints' feet, lodge strangers, yada, 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 yada. But he says, refuse the younger widows. And today, the burden of taking care of these younger widows has fallen largely on men that aren't their husband. It's fallen largely on the welfare system, which the welfare system is completely happy to take care of these women. If you're going to bring up the fact that the Bible says this and the Bible says that, then you have to use it in the right context. If a man was willing to care for you, and you are a widow, and you're asking for money, but a man says, hey, I can bring you into my house and you can serve in this capacity in my house, you should be thankful. You should be happy. But instead, it's complaint because you're not getting what you want. You're not getting the position that you want, which is you want to be able to make your own decisions and do your own thing. You don't want somebody to cover you. You don't want accountability. You just want people to donate to you, to fund your lifestyle. So I sit back and I look at this whole thing. I say, man, we're getting closer and closer to Isaiah 4 and 1. Actually, Isaiah chapter 3, the end of the chapter, to Isaiah 4, verses 1 and 2. We're getting close to that point in time. Because more and more sisters are finding themselves in tough situations financially. And instead of making moves right now, they're, and sister, I'm not talking about you. You asked the question, and I'm glad and thankful you asked the question. But, you know, I talked to a lot of brothers, and a lot of brothers are talking about how the e-begging is at an all-time high. People sending their story and asking for money, and I'm in this situation asking for money. And I look at it and I say, how many of these same people are willing to be a maidservant, to be a handmaid, to be a farmhand? How many are willing to wake up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and work until, put in 8, 9, 10 hours? How many are willing to do that? No, what they want is they want you to donate money to them. That's what they want. And most religions in this faith, most religions in this world have told you by doing that you're good. We are not to oppress the widow. We are not to oppress the stranger. But oppression is not telling you that you're going to have to put in some work. It's not telling you, hey, sis, that you have opportunities to be covered. Hey, sis, you have opportunities to have a man's name, to be able to claim, I'm of the house of, at this capacity or that capacity. You're not willing to do that. What we want is we want everybody to give to us, to give to us, to give to us, with no questions asked, and that's our life. Well, that's not going to be happening. So many brothers are so burnt out, they're financially unable to just keep giving because they're focusing on their families, they're focusing on, their own financial situations. But you know what? Some of them have land, and they say, hey, if a person was willing to work, we have enough land where I could buy a couple more cows or a couple more goats, and we can put, a structure up that a person can have a place to stay. But the responsibility and the requirement of it is what people don't want. And then you have all the games, squatters' rights and rental games, and people are closing the ARC doors. I talked about that for a long time. People are closing their ARC doors and focusing on their home. And a lot of people are going to be, especially you sisters, a lot of y'all are going to be stuck in a situation of trying to take hold of a man and begging him because you can't pay your rent. And how does that look? You could just go there now. Obviously after you vet the man and all that. You could just go there now, but instead you're going to wait until this economic situation, this financial situation, this monetary situation goes even more to shit. Then you're going to want to run. Then you're going to want y'all to make a way. I never understand it. But hopefully that answers your question, sis. I don't think it's a matter of men don't want to help. It's a matter of women want to set the terms of how they are helped. And when men use the Bible and say, okay, you can join my house as a handmaid. Hey, you can join my house as a helpmeet. Nah, I don't believe in this. I don't believe in this. I don't believe in this. I don't believe in it. Just give me $500. Well, how about this? I don't believe in giving you $500. Bless y'all. Shalom.